For years, insecurity in Nigeria's northwest has been a constant presence in national conversations. Bandit attacks, kidnappings, and displaced communities have shaped daily life in states like Zamfara. What has changed recently is not the violence itself, but the growing political controversy surrounding how that violence has been handled and who may be influencing decisions behind the scenes. In the past few weeks, fresh videos, court filings, and public statements have pushed this issue back into the spotlight. Allegations involving a serving Minister of State for Defense, former aides, clerics, journalists, and two successive Zamfara governors have collided in a way that is difficult to ignore. The claims are serious, the denials are firm, and the silence from the highest levels of government has only intensified public debate. This is no longer just about Zamfara. It has become a national question about trust, accountability, and how Nigeria confronts terrorism allegations when they intersect with power. When you first heard about this story, what was your initial reaction? Let me know in the comments. Before we go further, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you value calm, fact-based analysis. To understand why this issue has gained so much attention, it helps to step back. Zamfara State has been one of the epicenters of banditry in Nigeria for over a decade. Successive governments, state and federal, have tried different approaches, ranging from military operations to negotiated peace efforts. None has delivered a permanent solution. Bello Matawalle served as governor of Zamfara before becoming Minister of State for Defense under President Bola Tinubu. During his time as governor, his administration adopted dialogue and reconciliation initiatives with armed groups, a strategy that was controversial even then. Supporters argued it reduced violence temporarily. Critics believed it empowered criminals. Fast forward to the current administration. Governor Dauda Lawal, Matawalle's successor, has hinted publicly that forces outside Zamfara, in Abuja, as he put it, have interfered with security efforts, including the release of arrested suspects. Though he did not name individuals, the implication reignited older accusations against Matawalle. The situation escalated when the minister filed defamation lawsuits against media outlets and clerics, demanding substantial damages. Shortly after, new video testimonies from a former aide surfaced, pulling past and present events into a single, unresolved narrative. Do you think this issue could have been avoided if earlier decisions were handled differently? Share your thoughts below.
There are a few points that can be stated clearly. First, Bello Matawalle has publicly denied all allegations linking him to banditry or terrorism. His legal action against Sahara reporters Mikiya and Sheikh Murtala Asada shows he is seeking redress through the courts rather than public debate. Second, Musa Kamarawa, a former senior special assistant during Matawalle's governorship, has released multiple videos claiming direct involvement in activities he describes as criminal. He alleges he bought cattle from bandits, distributed food and money on behalf of the state government, negotiated with armed groups, and facilitated the transfer of vehicles and property to known bandit leaders. He says he is willing to testify in court and claims to have documents to support his statements. Third, another former official, Abubakar Dauran, who served as security commissioner, offers a very different account. He says Kamarawa was arrested under Matawalle's administration after security agencies became suspicious of his activities, including alleged links to bandits. According to Dauran, Kamarawa's later release happened under the current governor, Dauda Lawal. What remains unclear is which version aligns with verified evidence. No court has yet tested these claims. No independent investigation has published findings. Much of what the public is reacting to remains allegation and counter-allegation. Which of these facts or claims do you find most troubling or most convincing? Why?
Now, let us consider the various perspectives on this matter. Critics' perspective. Those calling for Matawalle's removal argue that the seriousness of the allegations alone justifies stepping aside. They believe a serving defense minister should not face unresolved claims of this magnitude. To them, videos, sworn statements, and repeated accusations suggest a pattern that demands immediate investigation. Supporters' perspective. Matawalle supporters see a coordinated political attack. They argue that he adopted controversial but pragmatic peace strategies as governor and is now being punished for them. From this view, Kamarawa is an unreliable witness, previously detained for alleged misconduct and now being used as a tool in a political feud between Zamfara's past and present leadership. Neutral or expert observations. Security analysts and governance experts often focus less on personalities and more on process. They point out that negotiating with armed groups is not unusual in conflict zones, but it must be transparent and regulated. They also warn that allowing allegations to play out only on social media without formal probes damages public trust and weakens institutions. Each perspective raises valid points. Critics emphasize accountability. Supporters stress due process. Neutral observers highlight institutional failure. Which perspective makes the most sense to you right now? And what do you think others are missing? If you appreciate balanced storytelling without shouting or propaganda, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We also need to look at the wider implications of this issue on the side of President Bola Tinubu. In this complex web of political intrigues and maneuvering between Dauda Lawal and Bello Matawalle, President Bola Tinubu is at the receiving end because Matawalle is the Minister of State Defense in his administration. If Tinubu sacks Matawalle now, after keeping him in office for a long time without investigation, Nigerians will not praise him. Some might even agree with Kamarawa's claims that Matawalle will probably use bandits in Zamfara state to help Tinubu secure a second victory in the 2027 presidential election. If Matawalle steps down from his position, Nigerians will take it as confirmation that the allegations are true. The Senate and House of Representatives should summon Matawalle and thoroughly investigate the allegations. If the people of the Northwest vote for Tinubu in the forthcoming election, despite his refusal to probe or remove Matawalle, activists will be weakened and many citizens will stop sympathizing with them. The opposition parties will exploit these allegations to score cheap political points and probably get massive support from the Nigerian people. It was the same escalating insecurity that the APC used in 2015 to win the heart of Nigerian voters, which led to the defeat of Jonathan, which Muhammadu Buhari won. The likes of Atiku Abubakar, Nasir El-Rufai, Peter Obi, and other politicians who would emerge as presidential aspirants and their campaign teams will use some of these allegations to turn the minds of elite voters away from Tinubu. Elite voters are seen as power brokers whose opinions can influence voters in their respective host and indigenous communities. These intricacies have left Tinubu and his inner circle in Aso Rock in fear of what will be Tinubu's chances of winning the 2027 presidential election. Tinubu's government must tackle and prosecute sponsors of terrorism in the north, regardless of their political party or personal connections. This will help to clear him of connections with the politics of banditry in the northwest. If you were in charge, what would you prioritize first in dealing with this situation? Beyond personalities, this controversy speaks to a deeper challenge in Nigeria's democracy. How does a country confront insecurity when political loyalty, power struggles, and weak institutions blur accountability? And how should leaders respond when allegations touch the very offices responsible for national defense? This moment also highlights the cost of unresolved conflicts. When violence drags on, every policy choice, dialogue, force, or compromise becomes suspect. Trust erodes, rumors thrive. Citizens begin to doubt both government intentions and opposition motives. There is a lesson here about transparency. Silence creates space for speculation. Clear processes, even when uncomfortable, can reduce tension and restore confidence. Whether through investigation, dialogue, or reform, the approach matters as much as the outcome. For more deep, thoughtful analysis like this, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications. At this point, what exists is a complex mix of allegations, denials, political loyalty, and weak institutions. There is no official finding, no judicial conclusion, and no comprehensive investigation made public. Yet, the issue refuses to fade because it touches security, leadership, and trust, three pillars of any stable society. What happens next will matter not just for those named, but for how Nigerians view accountability in high office. The choices made now could shape public confidence for years to come. So where do you stand on this issue now? Has your view changed after hearing the full context? Let's talk in the comments.